Father James on a wing and a prayer. Well, we got back on our bus this morning in Krakow, our final day here in Poland, the land of the Queen of Częstochowa, the Black Madonna. And on our bus, we drove off to Sanctuary of Divine Mercy, which was the first monastery, convent that St. Faustina entered into in her young life as a religious sister. The grounds have now been building up over the last 20, 30 some years as Basilica is now placed upon there, and gorgeously outside, shaped in the form of a boat. On the front of it is St. John Paul II with the Holy Spirit pointing us in the direction of God's mercy and pointing us out into the world. I take a little time here in the Basilica to share my own thoughts, just amazed the beauty. Welcome to the Shrine of Divine Mercy. It's the shape of a ship as we come here. We're Faustina's first community that she entered into to the mercies of sisters. Amazing. And St. John Paul II, the second apostle to Divine Mercy. And we took a group picture after our Mass we celebrated in the Divine Mercy Chapel, where there is a relic, first class, in there that we venerated after celebrating the Mass. Then up the hill we went as we began journeying to the first chapel of Divine Mercy, right next to where Faustina actually had her room and where she also eventually died. We saw a simple replica of her room, the simplicity of a religious life, the life of penance, of sacrifice, of fasting, of giving her life to the Lord. Not an easy thing, as some might think that religious life or even priesthood is something easy. It's quite difficult. There's a lot of work that goes into. And after that, we entered the Divine Chapel, Mercy Chapel, where there was a celebration of Mass. For many of the young kids who have just celebrated their first communion, you oftentimes saw them maybe in our videos where their girls are wearing long white dresses. Inside the chapel, we took some time to look around, to pray, and just marvel at the outpouring around the world, thanks to Divine Mercy and the Faustina, what she has done for them. Here are some aerial photos that I found of the place. Beautiful. And then we went off just a short distance to St. John Paul Chapel Basilica as well, which is housing many of the relics and artifacts of St. John Paul II. There is as we entered into, we came upon the crypt of the Basilica, where there is a vial of blood kind of glowing in yellow underneath the altar, and various pictures that decorate around of the saints of Poland that St. John Paul II canonized in his time. We also saw a slab of stone that first covered St. John Paul II's tomb in the Vatican. And it also has a first-class relic that we took time to reverence as well. Then into the main body upstairs we climbed, and the massiveness of this work of art, of many mosaics that line both the main altar and all around the chapel itself. Onto a side chapel, there is to Our Lady of Guadalupe, is a chapel bloodied that when St. John Paul II's life was attempted upon. Astonished at the blood, it's a one-of-a-kind relic of the actual chasuble with splattered blood, mostly from behind. We left the St. John Paul II Basilica and Museum and went to the Basilica salt mines, where if you were claustrophobic, this is not the place to be. But on a wing and a prayer, that's what we did. We descended down to mines, a few hundred feet and saw the work of the many Polish miners. Some of them who were only there just to mine the salt, others were actually artisans, and they were hired as they were discovering their talent amongst the workers to make various statuary. We saw of only a small percentage of the mine, and we had the opportunity, as we moved through the different levels and history of this mine, to come into finally the chapel, one of the chapels, where Mass is celebrated, and where St. John Paul II statue was the recent piece of work of art made by Salt, placed in this area in the back, where he actually celebrated as a priest, a bishop, and then a cardinal of Krakow, that he would come. He never did come down into the mines as the Holy Pontiff, but they reverence his presence and the time that he took to celebrate Mass in this, and it's still going on today. There's still Sunday Mass takes place, weddings, baptisms take place here in this mine that has a chapel next to it. Beautiful people. Obviously, you see the devotion and the great joy. People seeing this large space. We then ended our time with a final dinner together with Sabina, who was our tour guide, and our gentle walk home as we packed up all our goodies as I went around the various rooms and blessed the various artifacts. As tomorrow morning at 4 o'clock, we get on the bus and we depart Krakow and head on home.